Oh, okay, we're good. I think now we should be fine because it's only saying it from
Oh,
that Twitter
gotcha.
account.
Okay.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Sorry about the little hiccup to get started here. What we're ended up doing because not only was it bad enough I had to pay for one Twitter account to be premium in order to run this show, now they want us to pay for both Twitter accounts to be premium in order to run this show. So what we ended up doing was we designated one podcast account to be the streaming account. So if you're seeing this under the Pattison Report podcast, just treat that kind of like the umbrella company which Whiskey Gingers exists within.
We just launder all our money through that company.
Yeah, we're not paying for for multiple premium accounts. So if it helps make it easier, this is now the Whiskey Gingers podcast by Pattison Report Media.
We need like a little TM, like a little side TM on the side.
Yeah, we're starting the media company now because we're too
really
cheap to pay for multiple streams.
Love that.
But on the bright side, it brings our content to a whole new audience because most of you are used to watching me on here as Philly Brandon talking sports, and now you'll be introduced to the Whiskey Gingers, Brandon, of course, and Chris.
One of these days, I'm gonna have to come on and talk absolute nonsense on your
we'll
sports podcast
because
I'll have no idea what I'm talking about.
No,
it'll be as bad as trivia was on the boat.
Yeah, exactly. So. For the 8 of you that are here, I'm sure you're here by accident, but I certainly hope that you stay. Because today Chris went out on his own and picked up a Pennsylvania whiskey. So anybody here who's tuning in for the Philadelphia Sports Podcast, we're still keeping it local.
Keep representing.
Absolutely. And this will be, I think, the strongest whiskey that we've done on the pod.
It's definitely up there for sure. Without giving it away, I'm going to show it in a second anyway, but this is a 104, 52% alcohol on this one. So it's a little bit more than like what we'd normally review. A lot of the times we stick to the 40%, 80 proof, but there's nothing stopping us from trying anything else. This just happened to be something that I saw that was a PA brand, and we wanted to give it a go.
Yeah.
So
keep it local. The bottle looks pretty sick. It looks like it's a smaller batch.
It is. You're going to be surprised when I show you the actual number on that.
Yeah, so we had to take a chance on it. So.
Yep. So without further ado, this one is Resurgence Bourbon. It is from Pennsylvania, and it's bottled and aged in PA. I didn't look to see if there's like if it's manufactured anywhere else, if it's distilled somewhere else, and then bottled and aged in PA. That does happen sometimes, but I don't know if it is.
Bottled by Brandywine Branch Distillers and distilled in Indiana.
Okay, so it does get imported here and then aged, but I mean, that's half of a PA brand right there, I could say.
It's here for the important part.
Mm-hmm. But it's a cool looking bottle. I thought it was neat. And it's a limited run. This is batch 2 of 2. So literally there's only ever been 2 batches of this. I'm serious. There's only ever been 2 batches of this. So I don't know if that's going to pick up on here.
Number 212?
Oh, maybe it is 212. 2 of 2. You know what? Let me have this one. 2 out of 2. I'm like, that really would be crazy.
There's no shot.
Well, to be fair, if it was batch 2 out of 2, I've got a steal on this if that was the case.
No fucking way.
So, all right, 212. You're not wrong. That probably is what that is. But either way, I think that's cool because it is a limited run batch, and I do think it's neat when we get to pick up the ones that are limited run.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna crack it open and we're gonna try it out.
Yeah.
So.
This is going to kick both of our ass on a Tuesday evening.
You know what? That's the best way to go about it, I suppose.
It really is.
See, it's got a cool opening. I think that it's probably going to wind up popping the cork when I take this plastic off, unless I can get it off without doing that.
There we go. Good. Definitely an artificial cork for sure. Not bad, though.
It was a pretty good pop, actually. So let's give it a go. We're going to see how we like it.
It looks dark, which so far has been an indicator of whether or not we're going to like something.
Yeah, it's funny when I was reaching for it. So, I mean, like, we've done a lot of bourbons at this point.
Mm.
And before I saw this, there was a Kentucky bourbon that I was going to go with and try. Yeah. But the thing is, I've noticed that pretty much any time we get a Kentucky bourbon, it's a little too fiery for us.
We haven't liked one yet.
Yeah, so
I appreciate you learning from our past mistakes.
Exactly. So I figured, this might be a little bit of an easier branch in on the.
Yeah,
we don't know what this is from.
All Indiana bourbon by way of Pennsylvania.
I like the way you worded that. Just like where Whiskey Ginger is by way of Pattison Report.
Exactly.
Cheers. It's pretty good.
I thought that was going to be a lot stronger.
No, that's scary.
I thought that was going to be a lot. Like I went into that mentally prepared for like, ooh, okay.
I'm trying to think what it tastes like because it tastes like something else I've had. I mean, most you can.
It's getting so hard.
You can umbrella that. You can
Yeah.
umbrella that for sure. But I got to tell you, I didn't pay all that much for this. That's
I
really
like it
good.
a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good.
I mean, we're so far into this now, and I deleted some of our archives. But it would be nice to have a running list of what we've tried and liked because you're right, it doesn't taste foreign. Like it tastes like something I've had 2 or 3 times.
The flavors in here, I think, are pretty good. I'm going to give you a guess of a couple things that you think are in it, and I'll let you know if you're right according to the notes.
Okay. I'm trying to think. I don't know. Is there any cherry in there? Cherry wood? Cherry?
No, it's actually oak wood. I think this is
Okay.
white oak. It's aged in. I'll give you a hint. A lot of it is sweet things.
Some kind of pie?
No, kind of.
Apple?
You could say that. Not apple,
Peach?
but peach. Yes.
Okay. No cherry, strawberry. Some kind of syrup.
That's very close. It's there's a certain animal that produces a syrup-like material. Honey.
Oh. Animals that produce syrup.
Syrup. That's the closest thing I could consider a honey. What would you call a honey if you had to umbrella term it? I feel like a syrup is
Do you want to know where
the consistency is right.
Want to know where my head went initially?
What?
Bears.
Bears.
Because I'm thinking of
there's bears in here.
I'm thinking of Maine, like the Northeast honey.
Yeah.
Syrup, like maple syrup in Vermont. There, bears in Vermont.
I'll throw you some lines here. It says delicate notes of wildflower, honey, peach, and peppery vanilla, which I think is actually a pretty cool mix. It's not necessarily what you always see. I think a couple of those do come through, but it is good. It's really good.
Yeah, the peach comes through a little bit. I actually like it a lot.
I think what winds up becoming dangerous is the fact that it is 52%. So,
Yeah.
If you were hanging out at a campfire having some of this, it would catch up to you real quick.
Yeah, but you don't feel it at all.
No, not at all. Typically, when you get to that higher percentage, you taste it right in your mouth as soon as you take a sip of it. You know that it's a higher alcohol percentage. But with this, honestly, it's really good. It's really smooth. The flavors are there. I don't remember exactly what I paid for it, but it was sub $50.
Okay. I mean, that's a good whiskey for under $50.
Yeah. I think that, this is certainly something that I would grab. It's on that borderline of your daily whiskey to your weekend whiskey for sure.
This makes no sense, but it makes sense in my head. This to me feels like I would treat it as the bourbon equivalent to Jameson. To where it's a good whiskey. It's not quite in like an event whiskey, but I know every time, every bottle, I would like this.
Oh yeah, this is to me, as far as bourbons go, is definitely up there. This is a bold statement from how we've talked about it before, but it's not Basil Hayden good. Yeah. But I would grab it. The reason I like Basil Hayden is because I know I'm going to go on into there, pick it up off the shelf, and it's going to be amazing. Yeah. I would 100% buy this again and feel very similar.
The consistency is nice.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to like it.
Mm-hmm. No, 100% agree.
It reminds me of I don't like IPAs at all.
Yeah.
But the reason I like that is it reminds me of a good IPA because I don't know if you ever someone's ever tried to pitch one too. It's like, oh dude, it's like this 60-minute triple IPA, it's 12%. And the only calling card is that it's 12% and it tastes like ass.
Mm-hmm.
This is strong, but it's not strong for the sake of being strong. It doesn't compromise on flavor.
No, I 100% agree with you. I think it's really good. I'm curious to see if anybody else has seen it as well, because this is the first time I've seen it. And for it to be a PA aged whiskey, I would have assumed we'd see it before that, especially considering you pointed out it's batch 212, not 2 of 2. So I think, you're 100% accurate in saying
I didn't want to crush your dreams, but I was like, there's no way.
This would be like a $400 bottle if that was the case.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's okay. But what made me laugh about did you have something?
No. Please go ahead. I'm working on a little research for our next topic.
What made me laugh is that you were talking about the craziness of the price for the
Mhm.
for the Twitter for doing that. And that really brought us into what we were going to talk about today. And we've already done this bit before,
Yeah,
but I felt like it was time to pay homage to it again
I agree.
because things have taken a step even further down the rabbit hole here. So
Yeah.
I made a rant a long time ago on the show, for those of you that are longtime viewers, about streaming services and how I thought they were getting way out of control on price and the availability of different shows and all that jazz. I've been reignited on my hate for all these streaming services because lately what I've noticed that's really caught my eye, and this is the catalyst for this whole conversation, is that now things that used to be popular on cable, like when you would talk to a cable person about like getting your plan upgraded,
Mhm.
they'd be like, all right, you know what? Well, I know you're on the verge of getting out of here. So instead of you leaving for another company, we're going to throw in Stars, HBO, and this
Mhm.
in there. Now the streaming services started working with these
Oh yeah, they started
channel
bundling.
services. So now it's like, yeah, you can watch HBO through Paramount.
Mhm.
You can watch, Stars through Apple TV, and then you can watch something else through, and it's like as if I didn't already have enough streaming services to begin with. Now there's shows that you want to watch that are coming out on these networks
Yep.
through another network.
Yep.
And you have to pay to do that. And then when you buy like the basic of those, it's like, all right, you could buy Netflix, but Netflix only comes with Netflix, or you can pay the premium and get Netflix and HBO.
Yep.
It's like, what the hell is this? It's more expensive than buying cable. People are going to start going back to cable.
So I'm glad. So the good segue. That's while you were doing your filibuster over there, which was helpful. I was doing a little bit of research to try and find some numbers to throw out here in regards to this topic. So if you wanted to subscribe to all the top streaming services for the calendar year of 2024, excluding niche services or overlaps, so stuff like you were saying, where it's HBO and
Yeah.
your monthly bill would be $492.
Oh my gosh, what does that include? Does it tell you?
It just says the top streaming services per month.
That's insane.
So that is, it looks to me like it's the your Netflixes, your Amazon, your Disney Max, your Hulu, your Peacock, and then some combination of live TV streams.
Yeah, I you know what? Those are where the expensive ones come in because I feel like you could easily pay for YouTube TV like $60-$80 a month
Yeah.
for sure. So like that would definitely rack you up pretty high just doing something like that. But then you have all the other ones.
And now what they're doing. So two things have been bothering me lately. Do you have Peacock?
I think we did. It's gotten so ridiculous.
You
I
and I
probably have them,
Yeah.
and I don't even know I have them because we bought them for something, and then we like totally disregarded the fact that we have them.
Them and Netflix have been on my hit list so far because their increases are so drastic.
Mm.
Like Peacock just did a $3 a month increase, so
Mhm.
now it's like like $11.99 or something. $3 a month is a lot to increase.
Yeah.
And then Netflix went up to, I want to say it's like $15 a month without ads, $7.99 if you don't care about the ads. And Netflix used to be no ads.
I know, ever. So like now all of a sudden you got to pay for that.
So like it's bad enough that they're trying. Now they're jacking those fees up.
Yeah.
So if you wanted, I'm not great with math, so we're going to round these numbers off. But if you wanted to just subscribe to the top 5 streaming services, which I'm sure I know we do, and I think most people listening do, and not pay for ads.
What do they consider the top 5? Does it
I'm gonna
show?
tell you in
Okay.
about
Yeah.
4 seconds.
Okay. I'm on the edge of my seat, Brandon.
So Netflix is $15.
Okay.
Amazon Prime another $15. That's $30.
Mm-hmm.
Disney Plus is $14. We're at $44 a month.
Mm-hmm.
Another $15 for Max.
Oh my
That's $59 a
Yeah.
month. And then $18 for Hulu.
That's
so
crazy.
$59, $18. That gets us to $78 a month in streaming services.
Mm-hmm. Just
If
to
you
do the
just
top
have
5.
the top 5. That's nothing niche.
Yeah.
That's not Discovery.
Yeah.
That's not.
Yep. I'll tell you what.
Stars.
I do pay for Discovery
Me too.
Plus because I love Discovery Plus. They have.
Well,
There's a lot of bang for your buck in there. I mean,
Yeah.
like this is a hate on streaming service skit, but I do think Disney or Discovery Plus gives you a lot of bang for your buck.
Yeah, some of the smaller ones are great. But that's crazy, dude. That's $78 a month for only the top 5. And none of those include sports.
Somebody could capitalize on this a lot by treating it like cable used to be, and it's crazy that we're even having this conversation because this is what cable. It's like
It's
talking
what
about
cable
things
used to
that
be.
already existed. It's
Uh-huh.
like when Spotify came out and we're like, wow, I wish this existed at some point. It's like it did. Rhapsody was Spotify before Spotify was a thing, but they went through a bunch of lawsuits and et cetera, et cetera. It doesn't matter.
Remember when Apple? So when Apple first got rid of the aux port, where you
Mhm.
plug your headphones in,
Yeah.
then they invented the dongle.
Yeah.
It's solving a
Yep.
problem you created.
Yep, yourself. No, it's crazy, but I mean, there would be a perfect world if, like, instead of each individual streaming service, they somehow, and I'm sure they could,
Yeah.
come together in some way because corporations like to do this
Recreate cable.
and just recreate
That's
cable.
all this
And
is.
then all of a sudden they're like, all right, well, now you can pick and choose what stations you want to watch. And it's literally cable. You're literally doing cable again.
Yeah.
But
Because, like, look,
it's the facade that it's not cable,
Uh-huh.
it's streaming because it's different because you get to choose what it is rather than it being, live.
yeah.
The whole facade really ended when live TV broadcasting
Mhm.
became a part of streaming.
Yeah, like when the NFL started going to Amazon Prime Thursday
Mhm.
nights.
Yeah.
Monday night is somebody. Who the hell is no, Peacock has Sunday afternoons. Like yeah, once sports leagues started signing exclusive
Mhm.
streaming contracts, it's like now this has just become the way we watch television.
We had a good run. Streaming was affordable for a long time.
Now
It
it's
was the
over.
way to go. It's over. That's the short and sweet of it. The good run that we had
Yeah.
for like probably I'd say a good like 5, maybe pushing 10 years
Yeah.
was like a good run. Because back in the day when streaming was like a brand new thing and Netflix was the only person out in the game, it was like $3 a month
Yeah.
to have Netflix and you felt like a king. There was zero reason to have cable. At that point, you're telling me I can save $115 a month
Yep.
to just spend $5 or less on this streaming platform and have access to all these movies. And then they start rolling out shows and stuff. I get why it got expensive,
Yeah.
but it's now just cable. That's
Exactly.
really all it is. But the negative to streaming versus cable is at least cable has practiced their trade for so long
Mhm.
that they have the packages and they're like, all right, this is going to give you all your news stations. This is going to give you all your sports stations. This is going to give you all your kids stations. They thought about this for years. They've had this in effect. So they already know what to do. Everybody else now at streaming, it's like, well, I need to pick this for this, this for this, this for this. And that's why you end up with like a $150 bill to have a bunch of different streaming services.
And look, I mean, I'm all. This is getting way too philosophical. But like, I'm all for shitting on the streaming company because they are taking advantage of people without a doubt. This is also, I would say, 70% of our own doing, and I say that because remember when On Demand came out, or I don't know what Verizon's was called.
I think it was always On Demand.
On Demand, but it was like revolutionary because you weren't at the mercy of the TV schedule. Like if you wanted to watch SVU, you could go on Demand and watch SVU anytime you wanted. People got addicted to that, and then all streaming was that expanded. It was, hey, here's all of your favorite shows anytime you want them, and we were like, hell yeah, this is all I want. And I mean, it's capitalism. They had a captive audience who loved this thing so much they'll pay anything for it, and it just took them 5 to 10 years to realize, hey, they'll pay anything for this.
And people do all the time. That's the problem. When you have an audience that's willing to pay that money, why would they stop? It's the same thing with theme parks and cruises and everything else. If people are willing to pay, why would they ever lower their prices? There's been a consistent jump in cruise rates going up over the last, I'd say, 5 years.
Because they're sailing full again.
They're sailing full, and everybody's paying for it. So, like, if they're like, all right, we have this suite that is $4,000 for the stay, and it's consistently booked out on every cruise, why would they ever lower their prices? That wouldn't make any sense for them to do that. Rightfully so, just like these streaming services, if people are willing to sign up month by month and pay $16 a month for a service to not have ads, where they used to get it for free.
Yeah, it's the same as restaurants.
Why would they not do it?
People complain about beer prices, but go to the number one bar in your town on a Friday or Saturday night. The beers are going to be $7 or $8, and it's going to be shoulder to shoulder, front to back.
I would definitely consider paying a premium, as you used to for cable, if they just put things in a package for me. Instead of there should be a situation. I know that they could do it. All these companies are owned by a lot of the same people anyway. It's like if you were able to pick and choose what you wanted from Netflix or what you wanted from Hulu, or even if there was somebody that came out with an app that allowed you to have accounts to all of those,
Mhm.
but display everything that you can watch from those in one spot. Like,
Okay.
let's say you have like a hub.
Yeah.
So you have a hub. So let's call it, the Whiskey Gingers hub.
Mhm.
Okay, because trademark, nobody can use that now.
All the other hubs already taken.
Whiskey Gingers hub. I log in, I click on my Whiskey Gingers hub app,
Mm.
and then when I get in there, instead of just seeing just Netflix's shows and movies and just Hulu's, I could see all of them, and I could search from there. You can do that kind of already with like the Amazon Fire Sticks
Yeah.
because they'll search those things, but that's a little rudimentary, and it doesn't always pick up everything. It like gives you suggestions. It'll be like, all right, well, this is on this, this, and this. I just want it to show me like one option. I search for, Friends. I want Friends to pop up. I don't care which service it's on.
Yeah.
I just want it to pop up.
So what I would let me know if you would do something like this, because if we're talking about a world where all these services get together, or there's some like parent service.
Yeah.
What if there was a $50, let's say $50 a month flat fee,
Mm-hmm.
and you get the top 5. You get Netflix, Amazon, Disney, Max, and Hulu, but you have an allowance
Mm-hmm.
of shows you can watch, or whatever the hell, or whatever it is. Like there's a breakdown.
Pick 10 or something.
Well, hell, even more than that. It's the last month.
Yeah.
But like, let's say you were able. I don't know how it would work if you do it by hour, by time, or whatever. But like
we're doing the work for these companies right now. Is what we're doing. We're pitching this.
But maybe maybe I love Netflix and I only watch one show on Hulu, and in the month I get like 100 hours, and I use 70 of my hours on Netflix, and disperse the rest. And then the 27th, the 28th, it goes, hey, we'll catch you again on the 1st.
You know why I love your idea? Because it gives you that agency to choose.
Yeah.
But what I think is hysterical about it is we're just feeding into the problem of we're agreeing to pigeonhole ourselves and restrict ourselves. It's like you have these entire libraries at your disposal and we pay good money for it, but we're like, well, we're willing to compromise and only have a limited access to those things as long as I get it all in one easy,
Well, no, for
thing.
28 less bucks a month.
Yeah. No, it's you're not wrong. It's a tricky compromise for sure. I'm not against it. I think that it definitely has some weight to it for sure.
Because we pay for Disney Plus, but we probably use it 2 or 3 times a month.
And then how about all these companies that bundle, but then they're bundled in other ways too? Like you can get Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN bundled. That was a bundle for a long time. That's what I have currently for Disney Plus.
Well, I mean,
so
Disney owns ESPN.
So I have those 3 together. But then what if you find like there used to be, and I had both of them because it was silly and it was annoying. I had to figure out a way to cancel it. I was getting Spotify Premium with Hulu. Yeah. So I had Hulu twice, which was weird. Then I think there's other ones that you can also get like a third one. And it's like, why are they allowing that to happen? I get why they do it,
we get
but it
Apple
seems
TV
funky.
Through Giant.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, everybody who listens is in the Mid-Atlantic, but I mean, a grocery store is tied into Hulu.
Yeah.
And I know we've been complaining a lot about the problem, so you're probably waiting for like, all right, well, at some point, maybe in the 23rd minute mark, there's a solution. There's not.
I was going to say, bring it to us, Brandon.
There's not.
Tell
Because,
us.
look, DirecTV stream, which doesn't include everything, is $79. Not saving any money. YouTube TV, which again doesn't include everything, $73. I don't know what the hell Fubo is, $75.
That sounds like another one of those.
Hulu plus Live TV, which I've heard is great for sports, $89. So like, there's no way out.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been giving the cable companies a big break so far about why did we abandon them? The reason we abandoned them is they did the same exact shit.
Exactly.
They drove it up so high that we left. And then even now that people want to go back, my parents are going through this. They're like, they want to go back.
But the price is still bad.
The price hasn't gotten better. And you have to, in order to do a bundle, everybody needs internet.
Yeah.
Everybody wants TV. You still have to include landline. Give up on landline. Nobody has that hysterical. Drop So they're like, oh, can we say anything about dropping landline? No, you have to do the Comcast triple play.
Why?
No one has it.
Nobody wants that.
Like, do you have a landline?
I don't have I don't have cable, or we just have internet. That's it.
Yeah, so drop the landline, Comcast.
Well, so you brought up a good point. So you're like, this cable problem created a solution of streaming. Is there a next level solution that we can't even comprehend that is around the corner that's going to kill streaming?
Neuralink. We're walking around watching TV in our
well, because think about it. I mean, like, to be fair, you wouldn't have thought that streaming was going to be even an option. Like, back when streaming, I remember when Netflix came out, Blockbuster was still a thing.
when Netflix
So it was
came
like,
out, they were mailing you DVDs.
yeah, like yeah, you were like dealing with like Blockbuster and Redbox still.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay,
Redbox is revolutionary.
so now you're sitting here telling me that I can watch all these things without having to go to the store or having something mailed to me. So like the next step has to be something that totally comes out of left field that we don't even think about.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a build-up because, when cable was the basis, and then you had movie rental at Blockbuster.
Mm-hmm.
Then Redbox was even more accessible because it was in like the grocery store.
Yeah,
Then On Demand came around. On Demand was essentially streaming.
it was
in its
the first
infancy.
step.
It was
Except you had to
streaming.
pay for everything individually, which was like the Apple approach to streaming
You had to pay for On Demand. You didn't have to pay by the channel. There was a lot of free stuff.
by movie.
You buy movie, yeah, if you want to rent a movie. But that was like the genesis of streaming. So I think we're going to see the on-demand of streaming before we get back out.
Yeah. Well, there was that phase 2 for a while, and it had a lot to do with COVID, but where they were doing movies that came out like in the theater were going on streaming.
I'm so
straight away. And it was kind of silly because I like going to the movies, but now they've like made the resurgence of that, and they've said like, all right, this is only releasing in theaters. And I think it's wise. I mean, don't kill the movie industry by making it all like that. There's a time and place. I don't think that movie tickets should cost $25 for a movie ticket, but that's another thing that has just happened over time.
They've largely come. It depends on where you go. Like AMC on Tuesdays, I think, is $7 or $8.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the local movie theaters are sub 10.
Yeah, but how often do you have a chance on a Tuesday to go to the movie
theater?
We have a local movie theater in town. It's just one theater. Like you walk in, they're only showing one thing at a time. They show it for like a week or two, and then it moves on to the next movie. And their tickets are like $5.50 for a ticket. No matter what time of the day, no matter what day of the week, $5.50. Their snacks are like $1.25. It's insane. It's an old timey experience, and I love it because it reminds me of like my childhood of going to the movies for matinees and things were like actually affordable.
Yeah.
Before you had to spend $50 to go to the movies.
Yeah. It's so crazy.
It's cheaper to take a girl out to dinner than it is to go to the movies now.
It used to be. It ain't. It's not the last time we went out to dinner for two. You throw in drinks, that's a stack.
That's true. But what if you're like 18 and you want to like take a girl on a date? Like I feel like going to dinner is cheaper now than it is to go to the movies.
I'm never one to get snacks, and that was made very clear. I was like, look, we're
smuggling
not.
them in.
Yeah, I was like, we don't do popcorn and soda.
We're stopping at CVS before we.
I do now, but that's not my choosing. But yeah, I was never a popcorn at the movies person. So
I gotta have it. I gotta have it.
I go to Dollar Tree before, and I get whatever I want. I'm gonna sneak in.
Well, the thing is, I go so infrequently that I splurge every time I go to the movies. True. But now I don't have to because, like I said, that movie theater is like really affordable.
Yeah,
people were all up in arms in this area because they took away their matinee pricing. So it was like $3.25 to do matinee, and they took it away because it's 2024. They can't afford to run their business on $3.25 a ticket for movies. How dare they do that? But I just think it's hysterical that people were all up in arms about this. Meanwhile, I'm bragging like crazy about a $5.50 movie ticket.
Yeah, I mean it is definitely cheap. And just shout out to like. There's a couple movies that I think saved going to the movies. Barbie played a huge part. Oppenheimer played a huge part.
Oh my god, what a great movie!
Twister was a big one.
Yeah,
I'm still mad I didn't get to see it in theaters. I wanted to so bad.
It definitely has a comeback for sure.
Yeah,
I'd say within the last year.
Blockbuster movies who contractually weren't allowed to get sent to streaming because they were bidding on. If they wanted to take the money and go to streaming, they could.
Yeah, well, I mean oddly enough, cable has the advantage in one way there because a lot of the times those on-demand services from like Verizon or Comcast, they have access to those movies now.
Yeah.
Like they're in theaters still sometimes. You can pay like $30 and watch it at home. But I'm just going to go to the movies to watch it. But they do have the upper hand over streaming in that regard. So who knows?
The next closest one, I think Amazon is the other one that offers in-cinema streaming. But again, it's $20.
It's based on the movie too because a lot of producers make it movies only.
Yeah, because I mean, think of how much harder it would be on them. If everything goes directly to streaming. When you're in the theaters, you have to beat 8 other movies. 3 are probably indie, one's on its way out, and then maybe you and 2 other new releases.
Yeah.
If you go direct to streaming, you're competing against the entirety of Netflix.
No, I agree. I
mean,
agree.
The money's got to be way, way worse, and
Yeah,
your movie's not going to perform well, all this stuff. But
I agree.
I'm just glad we were able to save the movies.
I agree, 100%. But I think that we've ranted long enough.
I would say so. So until next time, we don't know what next time is going to be. Some kind of maybe I'll try and get an Irish whiskey. We haven't done an Irish whiskey in a long
I know
time.
it's hard to find one that we haven't had that we will like.
Yeah,
I mean,
we
they're
have-
all pretty good.
We have 2 weeks, so we have to ship one, and maybe we'll try and get back to our roots and do an Irish whiskey.
Absolutely.
Until next time, by way of the Patterson Report Twitter account on the Whiskey Gingers podcast, I'm Brandon. He's Chris. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Thanks, guys.